Next up on the tee, he's an avid golfer and golf content creator who's also the host of the Golf and Gospel YouTube channel, and he spent a total of 6 seasons in the NFL as well. It's Geremy Davis joining us on the Course of Life. Geremy, how you doing today?
Doing great, man. Happy we were able to connect and make this work, man. I love nerding out about golf. I love telling my story, man, connecting with others. So really looking forward to this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to hear a little bit about your story because it's a very interesting one as well, too. You grew up in Georgia, and from what I heard from before we hopped on, it was always football from the go for you. But did you play a lot of other sports growing up, and what was your journey like athletically?
For sure. I would say majority of my life was football. Well, basketball was also a huge part of it, but, I knew in reality that, my longevity in the game or that specific sport wasn't going to be basketball. I was a good basketball player. I'm not going to knock my skill set in that, but I knew that football was the route for me to go. I believe that's what the Lord had for me in terms of athletics. So played a lot of football, started when I was 7, started playing basketball when I was 8, and I just kind of went back and forth with just those two sports throughout my youth and obviously going into my adulthood. So, yeah, man, football was the route.
Interesting. And I know you ended up choosing UConn. I've got a connection that I lived a handful of years in the state of Connecticut, so I know that program pretty well. And apparently there's an interesting connection in that Jeremy Lamb is a high school classmate or connection of yours as well. Is that what eventually got you to Stores, or describe that process of finding UConn?
No, he had no influence on that, but it was it's just funny because I believe he signed early. I can't remember when he signed to UConn. And then the next thing you figure out, I end up going to UConn as well. Then you're like, all right, we got Geremy, Norcross, Connecticut. So it was just funny. Both of us going there in the summer, just seeing each other, man. We were pretty casual throughout college. I mean, we had our own things going. He had basketball, I had football, man. But it was cool to see some familiarity there in the beginning when you don't know anybody. And it's cool to see both of us went out to play professional, football, basketball and stuff, man. It would have been crazy if he got drafted by, I don't know, the New York Knicks, and then I went to the New York Giants in the beginning. But it had to come to an end at some point. But it was awesome, having a connection with Jeremy Lamb.
Very cool. And for people who don't know, they see UConn, the brand, the athletic powerhouse, and it's got amazing facilities and campus. What was that transition like in living life in Stores, Connecticut versus where you grew up?
Yeah, very different. I mean, obviously coming from the South to the Northeast, there are some culture things that are different, weather things that are different. I mean, I will say Georgia, it does get cold, but we don't get much snow. There's an occasional outlier year where we'll get, some significant amount of snow in Georgia, but nothing like Connecticut. So just trying to navigate those things coming from the South. Played its parts in terms of the difficulties of it, but, I acclimated pretty well, pretty quickly. And, end up having a good career there. Met some good friends I'm still cool with to this day. But in terms of culturally, it was definitely different. Some of the language stuff, hearing people say John all the time, Jawn. I'm just like, what is a John? But it's just funny, the cultural differences in language and how you walk and all types of stuff, bro. It's super funny, man. But I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. For the most part, outside of, obviously not getting a lot of success in terms of football, in terms of team success.
Yep.
But I still accomplished a lot during my time there.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're all over the books for UConn. Receiving, had some unbelievable performances on the field, single game performances specifically. Be sure to check the record books on Jeremy's time at UConn, and ended up getting you drafted. Just talk us through what that moment was like, specifically draft day, the weekend, and what you remember most about that iconic moment.
I love telling this story because I love making fun of my best friend, Jose Morales, call him Cubo. So, it was a fun weekend for multiple reasons. Obviously, I got drafted, and at the time, one of my other friends, he got drafted to the Denver Broncos on the same day. And another one of our best friends, Delano Shields, he was in the major leagues, but that same year, he was a part of a Rule 5 trade and got promoted to the major league. So it's all three of us, made it to the highest of our profession in the same year. But the funny story about draft day is, again, my best friend, Jose, he's at my house, and we're just, waiting to hear my name called. And there's a lot of anxiety waiting to hear your name called because, you're holding your phone, but, every single, vibration or ding or notification you hear, you're like, oh, shoot, is that them? But when it's not, it's just, I'm kind of frustrated with, holding my phone, and it's like nothing else you can do around that time. So as soon as I gave my phone to my buddy Jose, the New York Giants called, and like we're ecstatic. Obviously I got familiarity with the Northeast. They're right down the street from my college, and everyone was like, "Yo, we want to see his name and hear his name called. Turn the TV up." This fool Jose, I don't know if he got the remote or he went like to the actual TV. He turns the TV off, dog, and like we didn't get to like hear like see my name come across screen. Now, granted, at this time technology has advanced a little bit. We can like rewind it and see all those things happen.
That's
but
funny.
Jose became the hero and the villain in a matter of like 20 seconds. Because as soon as like you touched the phone, it rang. So it's like Jose's the hero. But then he had to touch TV. Now he's the villain. So it was super funny, man. But it was exciting, man. Like I said, I got drafted. One of our other friends, he got drafted to the Broncos. So it was just like one big, huge celebration. Baseball was in season, so our other friend, Delano, wasn't physically with us. But then like we got the phone call and stuff like that. It was just super exciting, man, to just see the success, within my group of friends and all of us just celebrating together. Another thing that was just funny for us, and like I said, my friends will know these stories, is my other friend, Ryan King. I knew him since 7th grade. He first went to our other friend's house who got drafted by the Broncos. As soon as he got drafted, he drove over to my house. And then as soon as he got there, I got drafted, man. So, like, the things how it's just coordinated, it's just hilarious, man. I told Ryan he should have came to my house a couple rounds earlier. Maybe some things would have changed. Or if I would gave Jose the phone a little earlier, maybe some things would change. But, I got drafted where I was supposed to get drafted. So it was a good weekend.
That's a very cool, the whole team's winning moment right there for all you guys.
100%. It was awesome, man. Yes, absolutely.
Nice. So getting into the league, obviously everyone kind of wants to know about the classic question of like the first welcome to the NFL moment. Was it a specific like achievement or a field you stepped on or maybe like a hit that knocked you down or something? Well, when did you feel like you truly arrived on an NFL stage?
I feel like there were multiple, times where it's like, oh, welcome to the NFL. I mean, just walking in the building at the time, Eli Manning, everyone knows Eli is two-time Super Bowl champion. Odell was in the prime of his career, coming off Rookie of the Year and just doing the things he was doing. So just seeing them, it's like I wasn't like starstruck, but like I'm like, yo, this is a reality. Like I'm going to work with these guys.
You're on the same list with those guys every day. Yep.
Absolutely. And then the second one was just the first preseason game against the Cincinnati Bengals, just coming out the tunnel. Obviously, football is not as hyped as regular season, but I'm just like, shoot, I'm coming out of the tunnel of an NFL game. This is crazy. But I would say that the most welcome to the moment for me personally is our first game against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I grew up a huge Tony Romo fan. His jersey's right there.
See that?
Grew up a diehard Romo fan. He was our first opponent, and I always come to Romo's defense no matter what. There are only two times where I would say like this game was Romo's fault. The game, obviously, the muff snap to make it to the divisional playoffs. I was mad at Romo, even though he shouldn't been the holder if he was a starter. And then I believe it was in 2012, Week 17 against formerly the Redskins. He just played really bad. I think he went like 18 of 41, 2 touchdowns, and like 4 picks.
So those are the only two ones that you're laying him for. Everything else you ride him.
Okay. Oh yeah, for sure. That one I'm like, oh dang, that's Romo's fault. But that first game against the Dallas Cowboys, I'm like, this is welcome to NFL moment. Like I see my favorite player of all time. People might think that's weird because I'm a receiver, but I love Tony Romo. And another funny story is obviously I go into the game as a player wanting us to win. Like there's no question. I want to win, but I wasn't playing as much as I thought I was. So I was a bit disappointed. And I wanted to win for our team based off, what was going on, but I didn't want to win at the expense of Tony Romo. So we did like something weird. We went for like on 4th down. I think we were up 5 points. Probably should have kicked the field goal, but maybe we were just trying, make sure the game was out of hand. And we don't convert the 4th down, and the Cowboys are like on the 3-yard line or something. So in my head, I'm just like, dog, I want to see Tony Romo conduct a game-winning drive right now. Even though I'm on the Giants, dog, I'm like, I want to see this happen. And Romo goes out there and does it, dog. And I'm just like, I was like, that was so fire to see. He threw at the front line of the end zone, and Jason went for a touchdown. The arena like blew up. I had to contain my excitement because like, yo, my favorite player just, conducted this game-winning drive. And obviously people try to say he's notorious for, choking or can't, conduct a lot of comebacks. But at that time, he was like one of the highest percentage completion people in the fourth in under 3 minutes when trailing,
Right.
trying to come back and win. He succeeded in that a lot, and I think people just want to hold him to his failures. But it was amazing to see. And then at the time after the game, one of my other good friends, we were roommates in college, Brian Jones, he got drafted in the first round. He was playing with the Cowboys. And he came up to me after the game. He was like, man, all those years you were rooting for Romo at UConn, man, I see why he's the real deal. And I was like, I know he is, dog. So I would say that was my final welcome to the NFL moment. At that point, it was just, go to work, and I'm here at this point.
Definitely. Very cool. Awesome story indeed from just a small portion of your large NFL career. And you've gotten to play with a fair share of different quarterbacks. I'm curious, do you have a favorite quarterback like to catch a ball from that you experienced in your NFL career? Who did you enjoy the most?
Throughout my career, I was a special team ace, so I didn't see much success at the actual receiver position. But if I had to pick, I'm 100% picking Eli Manning, man. I think Eli Manning, for me personally, was a guy that I just got close with at the time that I was there. I remember going to the Manning camp by myself. I didn't want to let anyone else know because, like, say, hypothetically, I would tell Odell or Victor Cruz, they would have went too, maybe, and then, the priority would have been, like, just working with them. But I wanted to be selfish and just work with Eli by myself. So I remember just texting him in private, like, hey, man, can I just come down to the Manning camp for a few days, help service the camp, but as well as get a couple throwing sessions with you. And he was all for it, man. And we had great throwing sessions. And I appreciate him because he held me accountable because he wanted to see me, like, get better. He would tell me the things I was doing good. He would tell me things I'm doing bad. And it was never like in a negative way. He was never like demeaning if I did do something wrong, which I wasn't a mistake-ridden player. But I really liked Eli, man. To this day, I don't really talk to him anymore. But if he so happens to come across this podcast, man, I really do appreciate him. He was actually throwing me the ball when I used to go in with the ones. He would trust me, like, on fade routes because of my size, throw it to me across the middle. Like, I just really appreciate him helping me, grow in the game. And that was after my rookie year. My rookie year, I was active in, like, I think 10 games and inactive for 6 games. But I was like, I want to make sure I'm growing going into my next season. So the off season, throwing with him at the Manning camp, actually hanging out with him, getting to know him teasing each other, man, it almost felt like I was a part of like that status with, like, his relationship with Odell and Victor. Unfortunately, that didn't come into fruition. I started to develop terrible hamstring pulls throughout my career, and I was doing really good going into camp. And I pulled my hamstring, and then I just never got to see my hard work come into fruition with the Giants, at least. But man, Eli's the man, bro. Like I said, I hope he comes to see this at some point. I just like that he gave me a chance and he tried with me. And I feel like he's the only quarterback that really did that. So
yeah, I appreciate you networking that relationship to get those throwing sessions. That speaks a lot to him as a player on and off the field to work with you. Yeah. My co-host isn't on right now, but he's going to love hearing this because he's a diehard Giants fan. So he definitely lives in that Eli Manning legacy. And that's awesome to hear that you were a small part of it as well, too. So I'm curious now, as football started to fade out for you and you started to look to next steps and what you're going to do with yourself, what did that look like for you? And then at what moment did you pick up a golf club and start the golf journey?
For sure, man. So obviously I'm done with football. Played 6 years. I tried to go play in Canada because my whole mindset was like, I haven't seen my hard work come into fruition, bro. It doesn't make sense for me to only have 5 career catches, 59 yards, and call it 25 special team tackles. But I mean, when the Lord says you're done, you're done. I have to be obedient to that. So, I get into, like, training athletes, specifically receivers out here in Arizona. And then I started, playing golf. Now, as a player, I was a fan of the sport. So, I watched it. I can talk the sport, but never played. I started playing a little bit, in 2020. But my whole thing being a late round draft pick, I was weird. I was like, man, doing anything outside of football is a distraction. So I just never took it as serious as I would have liked to. But in 2020, I dabbled in it a little bit. And then once I became done with the sport, football beats your body up a lot. I used to love playing basketball, but now my knees hurt and stuff like that, and I can't play like I want to. I can go play horse or fool around a little bit, but I can't, play like I want to. And I don't want to play and get hurt and then I can't golf. So that would make me more mad. But it just came to a point I was like, man, what sport can I play that has longevity and low impact in terms of my joints and stuff? and it's the game of golf. So, when I first got my first club, I just went and bought some terrible top flight clubs. But like, I'm just trying to, learn how to navigate, course management and just etiquette and just play the game and stuff.
Absolutely.
And then as my love for the game grew, I remember my buddy gave me my buddy Tyrell Williams, man, one of his jerseys right there. He gave me some of his like old Strixon clubs because he's probably about an inch taller than me, but those clubs fitted me a little bit more. And then the more I started to like nerd out and understand golf, I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, I think I like these clubs better. So then I just started like experimenting with clubs. I was with PXG at one point. Really don't like those. But now I'm currently with a company called New Level. I love New Level. I have a partnership with New Level.
Okay.
I appreciate, them respecting the brand and what I do and stuff, But yeah, essentially I just started playing the game of golf, challenging myself to get better, shoot lower scores, and just trying to accomplish little goals. And golf has kind of given me like the structure, like football, like, okay, well, today I'm going to go practice short game, which is similar to like, okay, we're just going to go with first and second down day. Okay, maybe today we go practice the driver, which is like our 2-minute offense. Like it just kind of gave me structure with football and how I practice and I do things. So, been doing that for about 5 years now in terms of just playing golf. And then obviously, Golf and Gospel came to be, 3 years ago. And it's just been something I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, no, I like the way you segmented how you practice and work on the game. I'm curious, what are your favorite types of shots or what types of golf do you like to practice the most?
Shoot, depends on the day and whatever my weakness is, man. Some days, I love just, peering my scoring clubs, anything from, 50 degree, to a 9-iron, dog. I love doing that. I really love my 3-wood more than my driver. So I like, trying to, just be very accurate with my 3-wood. My driver's a little wayward right now. Typically I could play like a slight fade, but if I get very untechnical with my mechanics, here comes a slice, or if my over the top swing comes back, then I can end up pulling it. So, it's just, trying to stay on top of things like that. But, things to practice, I love putting. I think putting is a very underrated thing that people don't like.
It's the great equalizer.
Everybody just wants to go out there and just crush the driver, right? But it's like, man, I want to learn how to read these breaks. Am I against the grain? Am I with the grain? And just make sure I got a square, club face coming through at impact and stuff in terms of the putting. So I love practicing putting, man, and it's free to do. You don't got to buy no range balls or anything like that. You can just get 4 or 5 balls, work on my gate drill, work on the Phil Mickelson. Is it the circle of death or ring of death?
Oh yeah, the 3-footers and the 4-footers.
Yeah, man. I love practicing putting, man. But I typically just, I have a regimen that I do, but I put more emphasis on whatever my weakness is. At the time of whatever season I am in with golf. So,
well, I can tell that you're a true golf sicko because a lot of golfers out there, they like to play, but they just like to play. And they don't want to work on their game. They don't want to hit putts. They don't want to work on their swing. They just want to go and play and just expect to just play well. I can tell that you're really embracing the grind of getting better each day too.
Absolutely, man. And obviously, when I do my show, bro, I want to look good. Even though that part is secondary, but like I'm competing, like hypothetically, I got, let's call it, when I went to Texas, I got Matty McCary this week. I got to be ready to play Matty, bro, in Texas. My game has to be dialed in. I played horrible that week, but that's what I'm saying. In the structure it gives me, like I got a road game in Texas against Matty. I got a home game against, Brent Grant. Like it's just super fun to do those things. And like I said, it's fun preparing like I'm playing Sunday Night Football, Thursday, whatever it may be. I want to make sure I play well, man. So you got to practice. Yeah, for sure.
And your stage on YouTube is the Golf and Gospel channel as well, too, where you post a lot of your content, GDay85 on Instagram as well, too.
Yep.
Just talk everyone through the goal of that channel and the brand specifically and what you want people to take away from seeing your videos.
Yeah, for sure, man. So ultimately, the most important thing for me, man, I have a heart for everyone to know Jesus. One thing my pastor always says, we need to learn how to care about the destination of our neighbor's soul. And I believe that, through Christ, we get to dwell with God for the rest of our lives eternally. Then why would I withhold that from anybody else knowing? So I think that is not necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to only be done behind the pulpit, but it can be done on the golf course. It can be done at your workplace. But me specifically, I'm doing it on the golf course. And then secondly, man, like I said, I miss competing. I miss the grind of like going after something. So it helps me to compete, bro. So, I have guests on. for all facets of life, bro. I don't show any partiality. I don't care if you got 500,000 followers. Cool. If you do you love Jesus? You know how to golf? Let's get it. I don't care if you're a local high school teacher that has Facebook. That's fine. Do you love Jesus? Know how to golf? Let's get it. Because again, everyone's story can impact somebody, bro. I don't think people's story has only value just because you're famous. So anybody that comes on, man, like, yo, tell your story, man, how the Lord's impacting your life. But you got to make this 5 foot if you want to make the par, because I'm up 2 strokes right now. So then there's the competition aspect of it, man, that I thoroughly enjoy. And I just felt that in the time when I first started, I didn't see a lot of people in the long form content that looked like me outside of my buddy Bryce Butler, who went to Norcross High School with me. He played in the league for about 7 years. Yep. And I didn't see like a Christ-centric presence. And I know some people online give me a hard time, like, well, Christ doesn't belong on the golf course. Like, keep that stuff to like, you know, Sunday, or start a Christian channel. And I always tell people, like, I did start a Christian channel. I just so happen to be golfing on it. So like, so I get a lot of heat from that, man. But I just care too much about, you know, the destination of my neighbor's soul, man, for people not to know him. And I like to compete, bro. It's super fun, man. Like I get so much enjoyment knowing like how my next Golf and Gospel match is going to be, you know, in 2 weeks, man, against so-and-so, or like, oh, I got this thing I got with the Epson tour, man. I can't wait to go out there and, you know, see some of the homegirls I'm cool with and compete with them, the LPGA. I get so much joy from it.
Absolutely, yeah. So a couple of the episodes that I wanted to highlight specifically, you got a chance to spend time with, I would argue, maybe one of the most likable guys in all of golf. He's the caddy for the #1 player in the world, and Ted Scott, who's caddy for Scotty Scheffler for a while right now. A lot of people just see Ted's frame and see him beside Scotty. But what was it like to actually spend a day with him and get to know him better?
It was so cool, bro. And I'm not saying that just because, oh, it's Ted Scott. Like, the fruits of his life, bro, were evident in person, bro.
Nice.
And it was just funny. So like me and, you know, my cameraman, Noah, shout out to the homie Noah, and we had another guy who was doing Golf and Gospel with us. We go down there, and obviously we find our own place to stay and stuff. And it was just like a funny moment. He was like, why don't you guys just stay with me? We was like, Ted, you just met us in person today. Like, we're not just going to be like, hey, bro, I know we're coming to town.
Offering up his home to a stranger.
And he did, bro. But like, that's just how cool he is. And our other buddy, he's funny. He was like, okay, what if you offered us to stay with you? And we said, yeah, and we robbed you. It's so funny he said that. But Ted was awesome, man. Like, we were only down there for, call it, 3 days, but it felt like we were down there for like weeks, man. How much we got to know Ted. He showed us all like his memorabilia from things from like the Open, the Masters.
Wow.
And he gave us all these cool gifts. Like my putter cover head is from the Open that Ted gave me. He gave us some swing lessons, and his he has like this other house where it's like this big TV, and the big TV like had the Monday Night Football game on, which is like hidden into the screen, but he's like giving us lessons as we're going. Ted is an amazing foosball player, like probably the best foosball player you ever see. Yeah. And then obviously his humility and his boastfulness in the gospel, man, it's just amazing, bro. And like I said, I appreciate Ted, along with many other golf and gospel guests I've had on. But since we're talking about him, I just appreciate that his fruits match what he does online in real life. Because, you know, I will hope no one is like fake online, and then in real life it's like, yo, you have terrible fruits, bro. You're rude, you're mean, you know, you're not honoring your wife, man. But like, Ted does all of that, man. And I appreciate Ted because I still, you know, talk to him here and there. It wasn't just like a one-time thing and the relationship is dead. Like, I still get to hear from him when he's here for Waste Management. I typically fellowship with him and Aaron Bagley for a Bible study. Like, yeah, Ted's awesome, man. It was a great episode, and my swing is way better than that episode. So anybody go check it out. Then I'm like, dang, this swing is trash. I was just experimenting at the time, bro. Like, I had a terrible over the top swing. I was doing like that Jack Nicklaus putting style because I saw Michelle Wee when she was struggling with her putter. She was doing like that really bent over, like
that tabletop puttering stance. Yeah.
So I was doing that too. So I was really experimenting a lot. But like, if you follow along with Golf and Gospel, you'll see how my game has progressed so much more than at the beginning. But one thing I always say, man, my golf game can be up and down, but the gospel is the same yesterday, today, and forever, bro. But in all, Ted was awesome, bro. And I can say that with full transparency. There was nothing I would say like, well, he wasn't really like he's who he is online. He told a bunch of dad jokes. So he's awesome.
A couple of those are clipped on his Instagram, which is GDay85 as well, too. So check that out. One other feature I wanted to mention, because you and I definitely have a lot of connections with the LPGA Tour, and you got to spend some time with Amy Olson, a tour player as well, too. Talk to me about what impressed you most about, her game as a reflection of how great the talent is on the LPGA tour, but also just her attitude on life as well.
I'm gonna start off with that one first, bro, because Amy, I think currently still to this day, has the most wins in women's college golf out of all time, but did not well on the LPGA. And that's not a knock to her, but that's just to tell you how good the talent is on the LPGA. She's been close a lot of times, no question. But the episode with Amy, man, it was tough because usually when I do tour pros, I want to have like a scramble partner, but I'm like, shoot, I'm going to hear Dolo, man. This is Amy Olsen, dog. She was awesome too, man. Like I said, I love seeing people who they are online, the fruits match, who they are in real life. And it was cool, dog. She told amazing stories about her time on tour. She told some vulnerable stories. She talked about the importance of community on the LPGA. She talked about how important her caddy was in her growth in the gospel as well as on the golf course. And she was just super fun to be with, man. I'm about to have my first child. She sent me some podcasts in terms of like parenting and stuff. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Amy, she's been another person that's been a true fan too. Like I don't talk to all the time, but like we'll check in, every couple months or so like that, man. I really appreciate her, man. And for me personally, like I love every guest that I've had on, but that episode specifically, I think the gospel was explained the best, man. Amy was so pure in her displaying of and how she used her words, displaying who Jesus is, the purpose of what he did for us was amazing. And then we went back to like kicking and playing some golf. And it came down to the last hole. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys to what happened, but I just know you guys will be ashamed of me in how I ended that in regards to something that happened. But Amy is like super awesome. Her husband's really cool. I want to do one with him because I got to avenge myself and get my payback with somebody in that family. Yep. Grant Olsen, who coaches at North Dakota State. He's awesome, man. Cool. But hopefully, yeah, he's supposed to be in Arizona. Hopefully, sometime soon. I hope I can connect with him and do some things with him too, man. But Amy was awesome, man. As well as Emma Talley. She's another former LPGA pro. She probably has one of the more. She kind of has like a TED personality, very, very goofy, jokey. But heck of a golfer,
I interviewed her a couple of years ago at the Chevron Championship in Houston, and she walks into the room with just the biggest, brightest smile, just ready to roll and talk about anything. Yeah,
she's amazing. I love Emma Talley for sure, man. But yeah, Amy was dope, bro, and I appreciate her just giving me time. I never been to North Dakota. She gave me a reason to go to North Dakota. Really, really good time with her.
Very cool. Again, Geremy Davis joining us here. It's Golf and Gospel on YouTube, GDay85 on Instagram. Let's get to some quick shot questions here before we wrap up. I know that you're working a lot on your quest to go low on camera. How are you on breaking 80 on camera? What needs to be done to get you over the top with your golf game?
Oh, man. So I haven't done it yet. I've shot 80 flat a few times, and you'll go back and look at like I started off with a double or like that couple putts lipped out. For me, if I had to talk about my game in its totality, one, alignment has to play a huge part. Sometimes what I think is straight is not straight. And Ted told me that when he did the episode where he just caddied for me. He said, aim left, swing right, that's straight for you. So I have to do a lot of way better in terms of alignment, in terms of in the fairway. On the green, I do pretty good. And I gotta hit more greens, man. I typically two-putt a lot, which is good, but it's not good when you're not hitting green. So if I'm short on the green, then I chip on. I have to one-putt to hopefully save par, or I got to chip in to get birdie. So I got to find better ways to hit greens, man. And, I did an episode with this homie named Chris Staples. He's based out of in California, from Long Beach, but does a lot of things in Compton. And he was talking about, like, narrowing my cone. So because if you give yourself this wide gap, you're like, essentially what they say, aim small, miss small, and stuff like that. He's telling me like I need to narrow my cone more so I can be a little bit more accurate. It's not that I'm going to be pinpoint precise, but that will at least help me get somewhere near the green. And then if I'm two putting like I say I am, that can help reduce scores, man. So so that's the things I have to just do better at in regards to my game.
Nice. And I know you spent a lot of time around and seen lots of different professional golfers. Just off the top of your head, what's like a favorite PGA or LPGA pro that you enjoy watching or see play recently?
Oh, watching. Oh, man. So, bro, I got nerd out about this stuff. So if we go to the LPGA, my favorite golfer on LPGA. Yeah, okay. I'm going to say two. different. But so LPGA, my favorite golf is Mal Sago. I love Mal Sago. She was Rookie of the Year last year. I was so happy when she won the Chevron Championship, man. I was hoping she was going to win the Annika Sorensen Major Award, but went to Minjee Lee. Fair enough, because Minjee Lee made all the cuts in the majors. I think Mal just missed one. But my favorite swing on the LPGA is Lynn Grant, more so because I have a short backswing. I don't really get too much turn. I wish I could, but, football. So I love her swing, man. I think she's a great ball striker, great player. From the PGA, favorite golfers, Max Homa. Unfortunately, we haven't been seeing much success with him because he's in the middle of a swing change. But I admire Max Homa because he could have just reverted back to his old ways just to see, him get better, make cuts and stuff. He is like, man, if I want to see, things work, I got to just press on no matter results. And I loved his him being persistent in that and just kind of like just thugging it out for a year. So hopefully for Max Homa next year, we see him have more success than he did this year. I think he only had one top 10 this year, which was the Masters, but he did pretty good in the FedEx Fall. I know the season just ended. I think he made all 4 cuts, 2 top 20s, and 1 top 10.
Yeah, you're all over it. I love it.
Yeah, I nerd out, bro. And then, and I would say favorite swing on the PGA is Jake Knapp, bro. That thing is butter. I would.
So smooth.
No one's ever going to be able to replicate that, but I like watching him for like just tempo purposes. I'm not going to try to mimic his swing because I can't swing like him. But for tempo purposes, I love, just watching his swing. So I would say those are, I named 4, but favorite golfers versus favorite swings is where I was going at.
No, great names indeed. Love that, Geremy. All right, we love to wrap with our 19th hole question here for all of our podcast guests. So you play a great round of the course. You get into the clubhouse with the guys you just spent the round with. Yep. Hopefully you birdied 18 and maybe really send it out on a nice note. But when you get into the 19th hole, what's your order? What do you like to have for the meal and the drink in the clubhouse?
If I were to do that, I love burgers, bro. So I'll probably get let's say, they probably don't have this, but I'm gonna say I love a bison burger with fried egg, avocado, a gang load of fries, and a side of ranch, man. I would say that if I birdie, if I didn't birdie and I shot terrible, I'm probably just going home and soaking my feelings. But I would say that burger meal is definitely something I would go after.
Love that, man. You got to get to Big Cedar Lodge for the bison dog. They make their hot dogs with bison meat.
Have not had a bison dog. I definitely would love to try that. That's
okay. Well,
bison's one of the leaner meat, so.
Yeah, we're going to get you in contact with the people at Big Cedar Lodge. You got to make that trip happen. That's a bucket list place for sure that you got to hit up. Love that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Jeremy, thank you so much for hopping on the Course of Life. Love following your content grind through golf and gospel, and best of luck with the game as well, too.
Thank you, man. Happy to be on your show, and man, I hope you a lot of success, man. It was a great time.